Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Nintendo announcing a weird new game in a beloved franchise, and Xbox's Best Series gets a new entry that finally gives fans what they've been begging for. Also, we'll catch up on that state of play. We'll get reviews for Ghost of Yotei. There's a million things to talk about. It's going to be a good one because we have Jason Fanelli on the show. Jason, how are you doing?
This is a packed burrito of a show today, and I am glad to be here. Hopefully we won't spill any of that red sauce on our nice new coats. Anyhow, I am feeling pretty good. My head is spinning with so we had Xbox this morning, we had Sony last night, Nintendo decided to jump in. There's too many games to play right now, too many good, critically acclaimed games to keep up with at the moment. Watched your stream a little bit this morning of Baby Steps, and the only thing that game needs, doesn't need much, but the only thing that game needs is a Sir David Attenborough sort of like narrator in the background where he's he's getting ready to go, and he's like, the nervous ginger neckbeard cautiously tips his toe onto the rock. One false move will remove hours of progress, or something like that.
It really does feel like you're playing as an animal. So I want this real bad. I guess we could just do that. I'll just have you come on the next stream I'm doing with that, and you can tell me what's going on.
Do that.
I'm practicing that game. We are racing kind of funny. I got the movement down. I am worried about where to go. I lose my bearing on like where I should be headed next. And I think we're gonna have to rely on the team there to help make some decisions and get us through that. But it's gonna be a good race. That's UPF tomorrow, everybody. We're doing it a little bit later. I think we are starting at 4 p.m. Eastern, I think, is the time that we're planning to do that, everyone. You know what? Like you said, a lot to talk about, so we should just get started and explain ourselves. We're Giant Bomb. We are independent games media. That means we need your help. Your support is what makes this all possible. You go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member. You know, that's the way to keep the lights on. It's the way to make sure that we keep doing cool stuff that you like. We know a lot of you out there are enthusiastic about supporting us. We see that. Thank you to everyone who's come through. And if you can't, tell a friend. Let people know about the shows. It's a great way to just help us out if you are strapped for cash, which of course we get. As far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings, or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right.
I wasn't ready. You gotta tell me when you
audio listeners, I took a sip of my espresso there in between. We have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Ghost of Yotei reviews. Let's see, it's at like an 89 on OpenCritic right now. So it's not getting me the double points in Fantasy Critic, but it's coming through pretty good. I'll say real quick, some of these people, Imran Khan pointed this out. Some of these names on these bylines or some of these reviews have been on a lot of reviews in this last month, like Silent Hill and Baby Steps and a bunch of others. It's like, how are you people reviewing all these games? It's impressive work out there, everybody. Shouts out to the reviewers
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every single year, this set of months from like August to like November is just chock full, and there are people who just go game to game to game, sometimes 2-3 games at a time, and they're able to get their thoughts out clearly in these articles. And it is awe inspiring. It is. I am honored to be a part, to be among these people. They inspire me to do better work too. It's good stuff.
It's mostly a young person's game too. I just too busy in the evenings, and like and Mike was talking about, I stayed up to 5 a.m. like a couple nights in a row, like really polishing off Silk Song. If I did that, that'd be the time to start getting up to get the kids ready for school. I can't do that anymore. It's
these people have a lot of games to play, but you know what they don't have? Children.
Children. That makes big difference. Yes. All right. These reviews. Let's start here. 8 out of 10 from Mikhail Higham over at IGN. He says, a predictable but well-executed story takes you through Ghost of Yotei's gorgeous landscapes and satisfying fluid action. It may not be revolutionizing open-world games, but it's a great distillation of the samurai fantasy. 10 out of 10 from Dalton Cooper at Game Rant. Ghost of Yotei is a monumental world, open world graphics powerhouse driven by intense combat, an enthralling revenge story, and a 9.3 from Kyle Hilliard at Game Informer, who says Ghost of Yotei does not radically reinvent or change what worked in Tsushima, but that's fine because frankly, Sucker Punch nailed the mechanics the first time. Yeah, it sounds like more of that game, and everyone thinks that's a really good thing, that it's more of that game. And I think the ranges here, like 8, 9, 10, that's where you're going to be, with a lot kind of hovering in that 9 range. And again, the scores only tell so much of the story. When we do go into the text, what we're seeing is people being like, hey, if you are looking for that novelty, if you're looking for that thing that's completely new, something you haven't played before, go play Baby Steps. We know that's not what most of you want. You want Ghost of Yotei. This is the big budget, highly polished, open world game that delivers on the fantasy that it's promising. I think most people spend $500 on a console to play a game like this, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, this. I loved the original Ghost of Tsushima. So hearing that it's the same gameplay, the same, like all the stuff that worked, but with a potentially different story or better story, even in some cases, sign me up. I really like the idea. And it's one of the reviews I read was exploring this, about how the first game was all about honor and how that works in the world, back in the day of the world of the samurai. And this person, Atsu, now is just a commoner. Like, she's just there. She's not part of a regal family. She's just avenging her family that was killed by the Yotei 6. And that's an entirely different story that you can tell. I love that. I love that they've gotten two polar opposite, maybe not polar opposite, but very different feeling stories out of the same world that they've built, with the same sort of fluid combat that I really, really want. And I can't wait. I remember distinctly in the first game going up onto a hill and just overlooking one of the vistas and taking that. I don't use photo mode often, but Tsushima, I brought that thing up maybe every couple hours. Just with every new area I was in, I was like, wow, this is enthralling. I am looking forward to that again when this hits. I'm not surprised by the scores. I really did think Sucker Punch had a good thing going. Of
course.
Sounds like they didn't fix what wasn't broken, which is good. Now, please. Come on. I know it's next week, but now, please.
Yep. I just, at a certain point, it's like we are going to get more entrenched in these genres, and you don't want to break the mold. What's the point?
Right.
And yet video games are known for that novelty. I always point out, one of the only things that's consistent in gaming is that things change every couple of years, and genres do grow stale. I think that if you have a big game like Ghost of Tsushima, you absolutely need to do at least one sequel exactly in that mold. It sounds like that's what this is. I think Sony's well aware of this thing I'm about to go through. They're doing this with God of War. You have God of War 2018, right? That was the first one of the rebooted series. And then you make a direct sequel to that, and you follow it up, and you stay in that mold, and you add in a bunch of you add more to it. And then back in the day, you would have been like, okay, now let's do a third one. But that's when games were taking 2 years to develop, and you could do 3 games in one generation, and they would grow each time. We're kind of long away from that. We're at a point now where these games do take 5 years. You get one a generation, typically. And now people are like, it's 15 years later when that third one comes around. And if it's in the same mold at that point, that will be diminishing returns. That will be people being like, I've kind of done this already. I'm ready to move on. And I think Sony knows that. So I do expect for the next one, them to take maybe a wild swing in a different direction. But for this one, this is the right choice every time. Do the big sequel that can build on the success of the first one. And that means the success in terms of creating and building the game, but also commercial success of people becoming aware of the franchise and showing up for the new entry in the series, which that first one did super well, especially in Japan, but globally. And I expect this one to just kind of be a blockbuster hit for the marquee game, for the big console that everyone spent $500 or more on. Yeah, they're not going to sit this one out. They are going to want to get their money's worth, and that's part of that is playing this game. Especially
now when prices on consoles are going up, they need a super critically acclaimed, highly sought after game to sell more. It's going to be a hard sell. It's a hard sell anyway with the increased prices, but now people might see this, remember Ghost of Tsushima, the first one, and be like, oh man, and you might get those FOMO people finally to take that extra plunge and get this going too. Now they did bundle it with a console, I think, right? There is a Ghost of Yotei console, I think.
I think so. There's at least like the special hardware, right? Is it bundled with the game? I don't know.
So I don't know if it's bundled with the game, right? So yeah, I think if there are fans out there who were waiting for this game, now's the time. Here you are. Come and get it. And
that's very likely in Japan too, where it's like, you know, PlayStation 5's selling okay. It's not selling quite like the PS4 did. And so it's like, yeah, you could probably chalk that up to people waiting for something like this. And again, that franchise really hit hard in Japan. So shouts at the Sucker Punch for delivering another big hit.
It is wild that they were able to go from superheroes and fantastical, infamous to
just a good studio, right?
Grounded. Yeah, man.
Yeah, they just know what they're doing.
They really do. Another blueprint for other studios to copy if Sony would ever let people, you know, in on their secrets. Not that they should, but
at the very least, it's like, you know, gives me hope for Insomniac going, you know, it's superhero to superhero, but going from Spider-Man to Wolverine, it's like, it's going to be quite a bit different. Will they be able to figure it out based on what we saw, which we'll talk about here in a second?
We'll get into that.
They figured some shit out. Forza Horizon 6 races into Japan, an official teaser trailer coming to PS5 later. This is from Darren Bontheus at GameSpot. As a reminder, Microsoft is a target of the BDS boycott call for its involvement in the genocide and ethnic cleansing in Gaza. They make money from that. That seems like a shitty thing to do.
It does.
Darren here writes, Forza Horizon 6 has been officially revealed, and as rumors indicated, the next chapter in the racing series will see the Horizon Festival move to Japan. Officially unveiled in an Instagram teaser video ahead of the Xbox showcase at Tokyo Game Show. The game launches in 2026 and will be available on Xbox Game Pass. In a statement, Microsoft confirmed a PS5 release to come later. Playground Games and Turn 10 Studios are working together to bring Forza Horizon 6 to PlayStation 5 post-launch. No date there. When I hear this, Jason, I think 6 months. 6 months, maybe even less, but probably around 6 months between it hitting Xbox and PC and then going to PlayStation 5. Does that sound right? And then what do you think about, hey, Forza Horizon 6 in Japan?
Yeah, 3 to 6 months is what I had it at as well. Three might be only if sales are really struggling and they can push the port out a little bit sooner.
Or if it's depending on like the moments of opportunity, right? If 3 months later is like, you know, dead right before a holiday or something like that, maybe they would do that. Yeah, that's
fair. Like if it comes out in August and then 3 months would be like the beginning of December. That makes sense. Yeah, cool. But yeah, Japan is has been on the top of the list of many Forza Horizon fans. I'm glad they are getting it. I could have used a little more in my teaser than some person tinkering around their garage and then looking out the window at some cherry blossoms and Mount Fuji. Need a little more than that, please. But hey, you're getting it. It's cool. It's good that it's confirmed. So I'm sad that it was confirmed like 2 hours beforehand because the Instagram ads went up too early. But hey, good for them. It'll be very, if anything like the previous Horizon games, they're going to treat that setting with the respect it deserves and make an incredible racing experience. And I look forward to seeing what they do. However, that it's in Japan and it was part of this particular presentation, and we can, I guess, parlay this into the next one if you want to already, is sort of a symptom of an underlying issue I had with the whole affair. But we can get into that when we talk about the actual full presentation. As far as Horizon 6 goes, awesome. Let's do Japan.
That full presentation did include some other stuff. Xbox had several announcements at the 2025 Tokyo Game Show. Jake Valentine at DualShockers runs them down for us. Age of Mythology Heavenly Spear got a fresh new look ahead of the expansion's launch next week. Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which, yeah, that's a Microsoft game. I still sometimes forget that. Showcased new multiplayer maps that are set in Japan. That's weird. Just, hey, I don't know, something about that. Hey, we're going to be shooting people in Japan this time. Are you excited, Japan? That's like, I don't know.
That's Fallout part of it, too. We'll get to it.
Is that part of it? Okay. Fallout 76 Camp, C-A-M-P, revamp, thanked the Japanese community and showcased some Japanese-made camp creations. I guess that's fine. Then there was the Forza Horizon 6 stuff. Microsoft Flight Simulator's newest world update did focus on Japan. Featured 23 new photogrammetry areas that cover over 20,000 square kilometers. There's also the addition of a new local legend, the Nihon Aircraft Manufacturing Company's YS-11. That's always cool. Ninja Gaiden 4 highlighted the game's difficulty design, showing us what's in store for us on Master Ninja mode. There was a 007 First Light announcing a new addition to the cast. Jimmo Chan is going to play Selena Tan, a senior MI6 official. Nemo showed us how the game's creatures interact with each other and their environment. Just some games just getting like a little bit of a, hey, this still exists. Double Dragon Revive, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 2D HD remake. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly remake highlighted the changes featured in the remake to improve over the original experience. Gungrave Gore Blood Heat is a full remake of 2022's Gungrave Gore built in Unreal Engine 5. What? It's from 3 years ago. What are you fucking talking about? Hitman World of Assassination revealed the martial arts legend Bruce Lee. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. We'll finish the show with that. Let's see. Hotel Barcelona gets a multiplayer showcase trailer. There's a bunch of stuff in here. I don't know. I didn't watch this full showcase because it happened mostly overnight and I was busy. And while I was getting ready for the show, I was playing Baby Steps instead. But you seem to have thoughts on it. What did you think of this whole showcase?
So it happened to air at 6 a.m. Eastern time this morning when I was getting home from the gym and getting ready for the day. So I happened to watch the whole thing. I was around, so I watched it. And along with some really cool things like that Winterboro, that woodland survival game, it looks like Red Wall.
That's out November 20th, I want to say. It's out soon.
12th. That looks really, really neat. There was just this whole, especially in the first party announcements, this whole thing from Xbox being like, hey Japan, hey guys, look at all this Japan stuff we're doing. There's Japan maps in Call of Duty, and we're bringing Japan in Flight Simulator, and Japan, here's our Japanese Fallout 6 camp designers. Japan, we love you, Japan. Please love us too, Japan. We really need you, Japan. Hey Japan,
you make it sound like it stinks of desperation, Jason.
It felt forced, just as forced as it felt to hear Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond speak in Japanese. It sounded like what the AI translations device sounds like when it says the Japanese back to you. No offense to them. I just don't know how they were briefed on saying those things. It just had this whole, like, we know it's our least successful market. We really need to step our game up there. Now they did that with Japanese developers like Hotel Barcelona, Suiri 65.
There was partners,
and Capcom's there, and Square Enix is there. All the things you would expect. Double Dragon 2, I still associate with its Arc System Works, so I guess that is Japan as well. But like, you could feel it. You could feel how desperate they were to get this market under some sort of control, and not the free fall that it is. It was very, very obvious to me, based on all of the and there's no greater sign, as we've talked about. Why did you need to highlight multiplayer maps for Call of Duty because they're set in Japan?
It's
especially
weird.
when you revealed them in a blog 2 days ago. Like, this is not new information. It was very weird. Now, granted, the flight sim thing, that whole
that's just that team doing what they do and coming through and delivering on something they would have done anyhow. So that feels authentic.
Yeah, but and also there's a joke for the RPG fans out there. Xbox did announce YS-11. It's just the plane that they're adding to Flight Simulator. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I mean, not to say these things weren't cool. They were. But I don't know. You could feel that they're like, well, we really need to step our game up in Japan. And this was sort of like, here, Japan, here you go.
I think they think there's a new opportunity because they are not interested in selling Xbox consoles anymore. So this is them saying, hey, we're Xbox. Here are our games, and we're going to let you play them on PlayStation here in a little bit. At the very least, you won't have to wait too long. And also, we think that the reason Ghost of Tsushima succeeded is because that game went and said, hey, it's a Japan game. Don't you love that, Japan? And that worked. Now, did it work because they were going, hey, Japan, or because it was a slamming awesome game that really was respectful of the culture? I think that might have had something more to do with it than being like, here's a Call of Duty level fucking set in Japan.
Now, I will say this. Now that I'm looking at this list again, all of the games that did this are either on PlayStation 5 or coming to PlayStation 5. Yeah. Flight Sim was announced yesterday. Black Ops 7, obviously. Fallout 76 is already there, and Horizon 6, as we spoke about at the top of the show. So that is an interesting element. I had not considered that before. I was too busy watching their pandering. But okay, so if they're games that are coming to PlayStation anyway, I guess it makes a little more sense. But still, if you go back and watch it, you're going to be like, oh man, this is now again. Also, too, somebody brings up in chat, PC has been taking off.
Yes,
there
PC's
too.
growing in Japan kind of consistently for a very long time. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think in the end, it feels like pandering and it feels inauthentic because you had a beloved Japanese studio in Tango Gameworks that was putting out games that were getting better, like from Evil Within to Evil Within 2. And then, what is the name of the rhythm game? I don't know why. It's Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush was a critically acclaimed game that you maybe didn't handle well with like putting out in a shadow drop. Maybe you didn't give it the best chance to succeed, or maybe it was just a bad fit for Xbox or whatever. Either way, though, you shed that studio, threw it to the wolves, and thankfully someone else picked it up, but that was not due to you at all. You were just going to get rid of the studio. And so all of it just kind of feels like we don't believe you when you talk this way about how much you love Japan. It seems like you like the money you're trying to get, but beyond that, all of the rest just feels deeply inauthentic.
Yes.
All right, let's keep trucking here. Plenty more to talk about. PlayStation State of Play recap. Major game reveals and updates that include Marvel's Wolverine getting a new look at the gameplay, and that's coming fall 2026. And I remember it was a whole kerfuffle because to me this meant a very specific thing. That looked hard R. That looked like a mature game. That looked like they were trying to, like, internally. That's how they were describing it. Obviously that takes on different connotations, but what they meant by that internally was we are going to go for when you stab someone, a lot of blood pops out. It's going to be like that Deadpool movie. It is clearly that. It is insanely that. I was kind of shocked how much they were going for, hey, we are not holding back in terms of the violence.
As it should be. You really can't with Wolverine, especially if you're going for the dark, gritty sort of Wolverine. Yeah, you're getting called out as you should be. I mean, that was a close one.
That is for my entire life. That meant one thing, and then suddenly it meant another because Jesus and Mero did a podcast and changed the meaning on me.
But yeah, it looked incredible. Very, very good first impression. I guess second impression, technically. Sorry, guys. Of what they're going for here, and that is the way you have to do it. We're not in the Super Nintendo NES days anymore, where you're just walking and slashing, and you can get away with not having the dark, gritty Wolverine. If you're going to go, you got to jump all the way in. And I like where they're going here now. I like Liam McIntyre as Logan too. I thought his voice in what we heard was pretty good. People were like, "Why is he Aussie?" And I'm like, "Well, Hugh Jackman was great. Why
as long as it's not an actual Canadian, that's all I care about."
That's right. The Aussies clearly have a lock on Wolverine. It's just how it is. But no, I was very impressed with that, and it made perfect sense as the last announcement of the State of Play 2. It is something that people have wanted for a very long time. Finally, getting a first look at it. Yeah, really, really was impressed by that.
Yeah, I was when I was going back and looking we're talking about them going for that mature rating. It was like, I was also reminded, like, oh yeah, at the time I was reporting that they weren't really going for anything very open world. If they do, it's going to be slightly open sections. But this is not an open world game. At least it was not back in 2023 when I was reporting on that. I don't think anything's changed there. This is not going to be an open world game, so it's going to be a kind of a character action, sort of one set piece to another sort of thing. I do imagine you're going to go into a town or whatever, and Wolverine will activate his senses to like track someone down or something like that. I bet they'll have stuff like that. It's not going to be his spider sense. It's weird he's got that too, and but then once you like get to that point, I think it'll kind of like corral you back into here's where the action's happening. Just stay there, which I think is probably the right call for Wolverine as opposed to Spider-Man, who clearly has all those mobility options.
Right. Now, I wonder if I kind of get like Revengeance vibes, right? Where it's not open world, but you go from, as you said, set piece to set piece or level to level. The levels may have some a lot to do within them, maybe some side battles or whatever, or go into a bar and listen for clues as to what you got to do, a little investigative work. But I don't see this, like you said, I don't see this being like Spider-Man at all. This has to be a little more through line, a little more linear, a little, um, I guess, restrained in that regard. Like you don't want it to be open world because you don't get around as fast. So traveling the world could get tedious after a while. Imagine if you were playing Spider-Man 2 and you had to walk everywhere.
Yeah.
That would take forever. So if they're going to break it up here and do more of like a linear story arc sort of thing with some open playground areas, that's fine with me. It's the way it should be.
It looked really good. But then they also showed off, well, they started the show with Saros. I'm going to keep saying that wrong. I think it's Saros.
George Saros.
Yeah, George Saros. Housemarque's new title, which is a spiritual successor to Returnal. I don't think it has anything actually connecting it to Returnal in terms of its world and lore, but the gameplay is very similar. It stars Rahul Kohli, and it's out March 20th, so out early next year, and it looked really promising. I thought it looked really good. What do you think?
Sooner than I thought, honestly.
Yeah.
Sooner. I really thought this would be like maybe summertime or late summer, early fall, but they March 20th, that's awesome. And yes, if it looks like they're, as we spoke about with Yotei earlier, they're keeping what worked from Eternal, and that's the fast-paced gameplay, adding more stuff to it, and that stuff being extra abilities or a brand new world and a brand new story with brand new characters. And that seems to be the way to do it. They're even doing it with what's technically not a sequel. You talked about they did it with sequels. This is not a sequel, and it's the same sort of formula. They're not going too far off the beaten path. They know what works, and they're just enhancing that, and that's what you need to do. I hope they can build on Returnal's success and make this really, really cool. I think it looked awesome. I was very bad at Returnal. I just could not, for whatever reason, I could not get the loop down, but I was way into it, and it made me really sad that I couldn't figure it out. So I'm hoping maybe this something will unlock for me here. Rahul Kohli's voice maybe will activate my brain, and I'll be able to get this one because it looked neat.
Yeah, my Returnal I think is a good game. I rated it a 3 out of 5, and my position was always like, the runs always felt too samey. They felt routine, and your builds always felt very similar. And yet sometimes I would get a build. It's like it feels the same in terms of how it like I'm engaging with it, and yet it's also broken and I'm destroying everything. So when I get to the next run and the build is not as powerful, I'm not changing anything. I'm still kind of playing it in a similar way, even though the guns are different. They mostly just kind of work the same. The next run where I'm not as powerful, it feels bad. Because now it just feels like, oh, I'm not playing the game as well. And it's like, no, I'm playing it just the same, but the build's just simply not as powerful. And so this run's not going to go as well. And that felt rough. And I think, it didn't help that I'm playing it right in conjunction, right as Hades is happening. A perfect roguelike that just nails that sense of every run can be different. And yeah, sure, sometimes it's broken, but the next one, maybe you're not as powerful, but it's so different. You're doing things in such a new and unique way that it still feels like you're discovering things. And then you go to Returnal, it doesn't have that. I bet they will have learned a lot, and this next game will address that exactly and precisely. I bet this is going to be a very, very good game. Yeah. They showed the first campaign footage from Battlefield 6. I thought that looked really promising. That game's out October 10th, not very long from now. Oh my God, the games aren't going to stop. Neo 3 got its official release date, February 6th. Early next year, starting to get filled up. Zero Parades for this is the new Zaum, the Disco Elysium devs game. That is coming out, 2026.
And when you say Disco Elysium devs, it's the actual studio, not one of the splinters that have gone out since.
That is the correct way to put it, is the studio, not necessarily the people.
But yes, I thought that looked pretty promising as well. Very creepy. Both games have this little creepy edge to it. I like it a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just like off-putting. Like, you look at it, you're like, this doesn't look right. Let's see. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Evilest Chronicles got a little bit more. That game's out very soon, 5 days. Crimson Desert story trailer revealed, and that had the release date of March 19th. That got delayed. That was supposed to be out this year, so that date is kind of informative, letting people know you won't have to wait too long, although they didn't just delay it to like January either. Chronoscript: The Endless End. This is a 2D/3D hybrid action adventure. It's a Plucky Squire-like. You kind of play a character running around inside a book. And let's see, that is out in 2026. I thought it looked really cool. I got the sense that there's some Metroidvania-ness to it. So, and I think that'd be a cool thing to see.
Very striking visual style. If you haven't seen this trailer yet and you're watching this, after we're done, check it out just to see the kind of vibe they're going for here. Very cool.
Code Vein 2, the sort of Soulsborne-y anime game, is launching January 30th. The Seven Deadly Sins Origin, that anime that everyone hates, is getting its free-to-play RPG. It's launching January 28th. Everyone hates this show so much, and people said there's like some misogyny and stuff like that, but also apparently it's just poorly made. Someone linked me a video that I plan to watch this weekend about why it's such shit. That's always fun. Halloween, the game from Ilphonic, asymmetrical horror game featuring Michael Myers. That's out September 8th, 2026. Although apparently, is this the one that also has a single player campaign? I think that's right, but that's weird to me.
I think so. I think this is the one where they were doing a single player too, because they realized with their other games, they only have so much leg room before people stop playing and go to other multiplayer games. So I hope there's a cool little single player in this one. Unless we're thinking about Hellraiser. Is it Hellraiser?
Is it Hellraiser?
Single player.
That's only single player, right?
Yes. So this might have a campaign to it too. But either way, look cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to expect from that. But yeah, I mean, look, people love these games. Everyone seems to play Dead by Dawn. And
Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight, thank you. And these characters often just show up in that game. So I always wonder, like, what is the appetite for something like this to stand on its own? But who knows? Horror fans always want more, and this would deliver that. Yes. A surprise of the show, Let It Die Inferno, a follow-up to Let It Die with the Uncle Death or whatever his name is, the skeleton man with the swirly sunglasses. This is going to be a survival action roguelite with PvE mode elements. It's coming late 2025. Sounds like an extraction shooter. Holy shit, oh my God, it's him.
Yeah. E3 2016, when Let It Die first came out. I just remembered I had them. They're just sitting over there.
Is that game still playable? Can you still play Let It Die? Because I wonder.
I don't know. I know Deathverse, the one that followed it, is dead. It lasted like a week, if that. This was very shocking. I didn't think we'd see Let It Die ever again. And now here it is. Oh shit, it's John Dies.
A weird franchise to come back, but I was happy to see it.
Yeah, the first one was interesting. Just climb the tower and try not to die. Let's see if it happens. Now we're going down a hole, I think, right? I think we're just going down.
And there will be other people there. I think there might have been in the first one too. But
it's a bonanza-like. We're just going down.
Okay, now you got me. As long as I can just punch everything. Dynasty Warriors 3 Remastered. Shouts out to Kayla. She got what she was looking for. It's a remaster of the PS2 classic. Apparently, it's a fan favorite. It's out March 19th. And then Last Epoch is getting an expansion or something.
Yeah, cool.
I don't know. Coming to PS5,
sure.
maybe.
That's over my head.
Exactly. The whole time we're just sitting there, and Mike was like going off on him, like, oh, he seems to know what he's talking about. And then apparently he was talking about a different game the whole time. And I was like, well, look, that happens. That's going to happen. It's a live show. Just sometimes we're going to get it wrong. Okay, and then that's like for the major games. There's some other stuff here. DualSense controller for God of War's 20th Anniversary Edition. Worth pointing out, people are like, hey, well, what about that 2.5D Metroidvania game? I never knew if it was going to be here or not. That game was supposed to come out this year, got delayed to next year. To me, that's a game that they announced 2 months before it comes out. So who knows like what the date is for that now? Maybe it feels like an early summer game to me at this point. I don't know.
They do a state of play normally in February-ish.
Normally in February, that sounds right to me. Yeah.
Yeah, you can announce it there and have it out by May.
Yeah. You could announce it at the Game Awards and have it out in February. It could be anything like that.
That is a Jeff. Yeah, because God of War Valhalla was a Jeff Keighley special. So
that's a good point.
That Metroidvania sounds good to me too.
That game's still real though. It'll happen. It's I think really a lot of times what happens here is you kind of just get assets ready, and I felt like this game was maybe supposed to come out before this state of play. So maybe they were just like, let's just take the whole package of the marketing campaign and shift it from here to there. It doesn't need to be in this state of play.
They may have realized it was going to mess with Ghost of Yotei, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Why even get in the way? Pulse Elevate wireless speakers, Sony branded speakers. They look kind of cool. They look pretty cool. You plug them in your PC, plug them into your TV, although I think they emphasized using them with the PC. Do you have speakers for your PC?
I do.
Just use headphones?
I have two big speakers, woofers over here. I don't remember the brand name. They were sent to me.
Sure.
They were samples, but they get the job done. They're hardwired in. They're not wireless or anything like that. And in fact, now they're plugged into my monitor that I used for console gaming. So the only time they're on is when I'm using the console. But they go into the PC as well. I can do both.
Let's see here. PlayStation Plus, Alan Wake 2, Cocoon, Goat Simulator, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered are all coming to PlayStation Plus's game catalog starting October 7th.
Tekken 3 PlayStation 1 version and Soul Calibur 3 PS2 version.
Thank you. And that'll be in the premium tier because those are classic games. And then let's see here. Other highlights. We talked about Microsoft Flight Simulator coming to PS5. Gran Turismo 7 Spec 3 update in December. It's going to add F1 circuits, vehicles, and new features. Okay. I guess I didn't even realize it was F1 stuff. That's something. That's probably why they even put it in there, because F1's having a moment. And then Deus Ex Remastered launches February 5th. We are confused about this, right? Yeah.
Yes, but in a good way. Like,
I hope so. I don't know. I'm looking at, I'm like trying to tell, like, what kind of remaster is this?
It looks like they're just trying to stick as what I call the Code of Paint remaster, where it's the original, as much of the original code as possible, just completely up-resed with the new Code of Paint. I'm hoping that they're using this as a barometer for, are people still interested in Deus Ex? Because if you are, I am. I want my Adam Jensen back. I was supposed to have him, and they canceled it. So I'm all over this. This was cool.
And then nothing else really worth mentioning. There was nothing that anyone would care about.
Nothing that's mega interesting. No,
God, nothing from a man out there or anything like that.
No, there's no crossing of worlds. No.
All right, Sonic Racing Crossworlds Mega Man crossover content. Hey! Got to see it. Mike, you got to see his whole thing. Did it hit the spot, Mikey?
Oh, we knew Mega Man was coming.
Yeah, we
and so was
Mike. Usually whenever there's a second character, it's always like roll, or they'll just do zero anyways. But since I was like 3, fellas, I have loved Proto Man. I think that's the first time I ever encountered that character archetype of like the mysterious guy who shows up sometimes.
Sure.
And I'm like, well, that's the coolest person ever. Give me more of him. So yes, getting Proto Man makes me excited. I can't believe I have to wait this game. We're playing this game today. I want to be Proto Man now, but that's okay.
Yeah,
I'll wait.
That's right. It arrives in early 2026, Mike. So we will revisit, and the second that's available, we'll play that again.
Just not on Mega Man. Not that you gaming at Mike's.
Of course not. Don't even bring that up. How dare you?
Stop.
Bye, fellas.
Mike. All right. Boy, still plenty to get into. Oh, we hit that. What's that, Jason?
It's like your summoning ritual. You just kind of tease him into it. You reel him in like a big fish.
We didn't talk about it. I knew it would happen. I just knew as soon as we started talking, he'd be here. All right. We got a lot more to talk about. So let's hit our break real quick. If you want to skip this, giantbomb.com/join. You get the ad-free version of the audio show. We'll be right back. It's Game Mess Mornings. We're back. Jeff Grubb, Jason Fanelli. Nintendo's first new mobile game in years is a surprise Fire Emblem spin-off. Okay. Sounds promising. This is from Andy Robinson at VGC. Nintendo has announced and released its first new mobile game in several years. I think 2021 is when we got Pikmin Bloom. That's the last
Sounds
one.
right. Yep.
Available on smart devices from today, Fire Emblem Shadows, which I discovered, Jason, I got a notification on my phone from the Nintendo Today app. I opened that up. I'm like, what is this? Fire Emblem Shadows? What, do I know about this? Did this get announced? What is this? I'm going to look closer. Mobile game. Is it a follow-up to the last Fire Emblem game? Wait, it's social deduction. What are they talking about? Available on smart devices starting today. It's a It's a combination of role-playing and social deduction. One of the 3 allies participating in each battle is secretly a treacherous disciple of Shadow, Nintendo explained. Players choose to take on the role of either a disciple of light, aiming to find their way through the labyrinth, or a disciple of Shadow. After the initial battle, players vote to determine who they believe is the disciple of Shadow, and the outcome of the vote affects whether the next battle is more favorable or more challenging. People have been playing this because it shadow dropped. It's available. They say it
Shadows.
sucks. Yeah, yes, that
Yeah.
Shadow dropped. People think it sucks. I've heard nothing but bad things about it. Now, could that be? Do you think that's people are unhappy that this is the Fire Emblem game, so there's a backlash just primed and ready to go because it's not real Fire Emblem? Maybe. I think it actually just might suck. I don't know.
I think it just sucks. The venerable Irish game journalist Giovanni Colantonio, he had put 2 posts like an hour after it dropped, and one of them was like, "I am losing my mind trying to figure out the design plan behind this game." He said, "There's 3 of you, and you have to decide which one is the bad guy.
Yeah.
But if one dies and there's only 2 left, and it's not you." You found out. You figured it out. That's so wild.
The 3 number is really throwing me off here. It's like,
yeah,
okay. I mean, I guess that could still work, but the whole idea is like work together over several rounds, and there's multiple of you, many more than 2, trying to figure out the 1 or 2 disciples of Shadow. I guess it would be in this situation. I don't know. I probably won't even try this. And that said, it's like it's easy to ignore, right? I don't need to like worry about it. I'll forget about this game even existing in a week from now, and probably never think about it again. I think it's fine that they throw a brand onto a game like this to try to make it work or give it extra juice. I'm not mad that they associated this with Fire Emblem or anything. How about you?
No, I'm the same way. There are some games it comes out and you think it's held to a higher standard because of the franchise associated with it, which you could see in this case, particularly in Fire Emblem's case, because Heroes is very successful, the other Fire Emblem mobile game that's out. But it's on mobile. It's Shadow dropped out of nowhere. They may have just been going for the meme. You know what I mean? Like, this, just drop it out. They know, as somebody alluded to in chat, maybe they did it this way on purpose. They knew it wasn't going to be up to snuff. So they just kind of throw it out there and let public opinion take its course. I am going to ignore it as well. It's just not something that interests me. My Fire Emblem radar is solely on Fortune's Weave, and it'll stay there until that game comes out.
That's exciting.
So good for you. If 10 people play it and 2 people get something out of it with the microtransaction prices I was seeing, I'm sure that'll be fine with them. But whatever, cool.
Yep, exactly. Whatever and cool. We have a promising Fire Emblem game, as you pointed out, rightfully. There are plenty of classic ones I still have not played. If I'm really butthurt about this one, and that Fire Emblem Heroes game, for as much as it wasn't for me, it's been successful. So them being like taking the Fire Emblem name, attaching it to this is probably useful.
Someone in chat, there is one legitimate gripe, as Scrub McGrub in the Twitch chat points out. We get this instead of the rumored genealogy of the Holy War remake.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
That might sit in someone's crawl. That might stick in someone's crawl.
It's weird. I just don't fully understand Nintendo's strategy with that stuff, where it's like these completed things sitting on the shelf, which you could take my word for it. I'm not the only one out there reporting that. That has been widely reported by multiple people at this point, and that's happened with multiple things now. How much they finished Twilight Princess and Wind Waker for Switch, I guess I don't know for sure, but they definitely had a plan to do something with that. Metroid Prime 2 and 3, those were ready to go. Now, they weren't as ready to go as Metroid Prime 1, where it got a lot of work. But a lot of these projects just sitting there for a rainy day. I just don't, at a certain point, just put it out. What is happening?
Yeah. What are you waiting for?
Money on the table that you're just leaving there. It's odd.
With genealogy, though, they could put it out in like the February Nintendo Direct in anticipation for Fortune's Wake, right? Like to get people excited. You could have that in February and then have Fortune's Wake in August or September.
We said the same thing for Metroid 2 and 3 for Metroid Prime 4.
They didn't do that shit. No way.
Fucking weird company. Let's stick with Nintendo, though. Resident Evil Requiem gameplay on Switch 2 emerges from Tokyo Game Show. This is from Ollie Reynolds at Nintendo Life. I'm just going to break down kind of the quick version here.
Sure.
It is obviously and noticeably reduced in quality, and yet everyone seems very happy with the results regardless. It's like there's a difference between getting a game to run on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. And the difference is for Switch 1, you just turn down everything. Every graphical setting gets turned down. Every option gets reduced to basically its minimum. The Switch 2, it seems like developers have the option to be a little bit more discretionary with what they are going to turn down. And that means some things are still going to look pretty eye-poppingly good. And so I think the end result here so far, at least from the people who've gone hands-on a little bit with this game in handheld mode on the Switch 2 at Tokyo Game Show or wherever they're at. I think it's part of Tokyo Game Show.
Yep.
The bottom line is people are praising it. They seem pretty happy with the results so far, and that continues to be part of a narrative. Like it's possible to deliver these games, current gen games, on the Switch 2 in a way that is at least acceptable and sometimes a little bit above that line. And it sounds like that's where Requiem's going to end up. And if it does, I imagine it will do very well on the Switch with that audience.
Absolutely. It's an audience that has already proven that they like Resident Evil games, even the Switch 1 version. So if they're going to bring that plus 7 and 8 the same day, you get the whole modern, I think it's the same day, the whole modern trilogy in one fell swoop on your Switch 2, take it wherever you want. It's a pretty good strategy. I think that makes a lot of sense. And to hear that it's performing well, again, we keep saying this every time we talk about Switch 2 ports, but it's just more evidence that porting to Switch 2 at the current moment is a good idea because it seems to be able to handle it enough that the gameplay comes through. Maybe you turn down graphical quality, maybe you turn down frame rate or something like that. But as long as you're not messing with the core systems of the game and you can just deal with the fringe stuff, and with as popular as Switch 2 has sold so far, I don't see why you wouldn't attempt it. If you're releasing a game in the next 12 to 18 months, I would say, if Switch 2 was not in your strategy before, it better be soon. Unless you're Grand Theft Auto, of course, you don't really need a strategy other than just release. But I think this is great news. I was kind of worried after that it appeared at the Nintendo Direct that it might be a little lesser I should say a little lower quality than people would be willing to overlook.
Right.
But it sounds like the gameplay makes up for it.
Yes. It sounds like if you are someone who loves playing your Switch 2, which there are a lot of people who's like, I think we go on the show, we have an audience that says, oh, I got everything. I'm probably going to play this game in a place where it just naturally is going to look better. And of course, there are a lot of people who just love having games on their Switch 2. Now, big part of that is they like collecting physically, and this will be a game key card, so maybe that won't factor in as much. But even beyond that, there's still people who like playing on their Switch 2. And developers are trying to change the narrative a little bit on the game key cards thing. That takes us to our next story.
What a segue. Holy shit.
Hey, I learned from the best. He's right over. He's produced. He's on the ones and the twos. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate director highlights the speed problem with Switch 2 game cards. This is from PJ O'Reilly at Nintendo Life. As you're doubtless well aware at this point, Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate is winging its way onto the Switch 2 on the 22nd of January 2026. Oh boy. And we are super add a few more supers excited about it, especially this writer, in fact, because he's managed to start the remake several times on other systems and has not been able to finish it. And the build up to the release of the Switch 2 version of Square Enix's masterpiece, its director, Naoki Hamaguchi, has been chatting to German site JP Games. Thanks for the heads up automation. That's the person that they got it from. About those dreaded game key cards. And they basically just said, hey, it's the speed issue. That's the reason we went with the game key cards on Switch. It's what we heard about from, now I can't remember. Someone else said, hey, it's not as fast as installing it on the internal storage or even a micro SD express card. It's about a quarter the speed of those things. So we simply cannot stream the audio. I think it was Star Wars Outlaws. It was Star Wars Outlaws. Yep. Thank you, Sean. Star Wars, because they built the audio system to work with fast streaming media, and it just was not something they could adapt for the Switch 2 version on a game card. Now, here I think it's just like they're gonna, it'll be a kind of a headache. We don't have any one necessarily like one thing that's really causing that problem, but I tend to believe that this is something that some developers are taking into account, although I also feel like this is another way of being like, look, don't get mad at us about the game key cards. Yes, it's going to save us money, but also it would be a real headache to overcome, and that's not worth it. So combine that with saving us money. Of course, we're going to go this route. Now, there is like a little bit more there. Since this story happened, VGC talked to Resident Evil producers about a bunch of topics, including, hey, are you having problems with the speed of the game key cards? Did that factor into the reason that Resident Evil Requiem is going to be on a game key card? And Koshi Nakanishi said, it's not a development decision for us. It's more of a sales strategy decision. And I was like, hey, that's just honest. That's just a man come out there and just saying the truth. And I respect that. I don't know if people are going to be happy with that, but
Right.
but yeah, regardless, I go back to, look, if this is the problem, if the speed of the game key card is the issue, Nintendo, the conversation should shift to, hey, Nintendo, let people install their games from a card onto the system, so the whole game can still be on a card and you can install it. I know people will come up with all the reasons why, but it's not worth the money and all that. That's fine. We know that, but that doesn't mean you can't ask Nintendo to make that change so that this can no longer be a talking point, and you can kind of keep pressing these publishers to use game cards that have the game on the card where possible, right?
Right. I think that what people are most concerned about is that their physical purchase will go the way of a digital purchase and be useless after a certain time. It's the whole point of buying physical. So that to have this sort of cloud hanging over Switch 2 cartridges or carts like this is definitely an intentional decision. I'm not sure. Still not quite sure, other than just the saving money part. And maybe that's just it. It just saves them money, as Nakanishi said here. I definitely agree. I personally am not as much of a physical collector as I used to be anymore, but there are people who are still, and they swear by it. So the fact that this is I get it. I get where they're coming from. And unfortunately, I also get that it's probably not going anywhere. It's just, we're in it now, and
I agree.
It's unfortunately, it seems to work for the people that it needs to work for, i.e. the bean counters. So they're going to keep doing it until it stops working, and Nintendo is financially convinced to put those games on those carts, which unless they patent the cart technology. They seem to be patent heavy recently. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Let's hit these last couple of stories and start wrapping the show up as we run out of time here. Bruce Lee appears as your partner in Hitman's latest elusive target mission, available today. Chris Scullion wrapped up this story. Again, I'll just kind of do the TLDR version. I don't know if I love this, that Bruce Lee showing up as your partner to help you track down a new elusive target as opposed to being the target himself. Now, I get that the estate is like, we don't want you killing Bruce Lee. I think you should see it as an honor to be killed in Hitman. And everyone else, all these other people have done this. All these famous people, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Mads Mikkelsen, they are just like, go ahead and fucking murder me. Kill me. In this game, it's literally an honor. And I think the estate of Bruce Lee should see it the same way. Now, that's me being a bit of a stinky butthole about it. Whatever. I'll get over it. But I don't want this to be a precedent of like, oh, sometimes a famous person will show up in this game, but you can't kill him. I suppose maybe you can still kill your partner in this game. I don't know. I'll try to kill Bruce Lee and tell everyone how it goes and see what happens.
There's a clip. It's a very, so so here's the thing though. All those names you mentioned, they're still alive.
Yes,
and they
exactly.
have the ability to make the decision for themselves. If
Correct.
the family doesn't want to see their loved one brutally murdered by a bald man, I get it.
Of course. Yes.
I understand it. Am I a little disappointed that you can't get into a karate fight with Bruce Lee? Just give me that, right?
Yeah.
I don't need to kill him. Like you talked about this martial arts tournament. If there's like this middle ground where he's my partner, but I still have to duel him in some like quick time event karate fight, that's cool. That works. That's like a little middle ground compromise sort of deal. But it's the whole like ventriloquizing the dead argument that I think Fortnite was getting when they had Juice WRLD. Is that who it was? It's the same. Yeah. It's the same sort of argument about putting people in these games that have passed on and relying on the estate. The estate is going to have more requests than the actual person might have, and you kind of have to respect that. So I don't know. I like it. I understand where you're coming from. It would be neat, but at the same time, I understand it. It was cool. I thought I was hallucinating when they said Bruce Lee, like the actual Bruce Lee. But yeah, neat, cool.
Yeah, it feels like if the other solution here is just to don't include Bruce Lee at all, and it's like, okay, no. If you want, let's just clearly this is the solution here. It's not that big of a deal, but it's not like that family does not have a history with guns, you could just shoot someone. It's like that just doesn't feel great. Brandon Lee obviously died from a gun accident on set, and it's like, of course that would be a bummer. All right. Metal Gear Solid Delta's Fox Hunt mode is launching in October. I think it's October 30th. And that's the Fox Hunt mode is basically prop hunt, right? So you can be able to play as a little guy running around, little trash can, and people have to find you. I'm looking forward to this. We'll give it a try once it's available and play it on the website. All right. That does it for the headlines. Let's get to the poll question from yesterday. I got the results right over here. Let me refresh, make sure I have the most recent info. When you start a long-running series, do you begin with the first game or jump into the latest sequel? 27% say they are more likely to start with the latest game of the series. That means 73% say they are more likely to start from the beginning. And I get that sense from a lot of people. It's like, man, I don't want to play this new one until I play through the whole series. It's not as precious to me. It's like I will play the latest more often than not. Although I get this urge. How about you, Jason?
Oh, I used to be precious about it, and then I realized that in my waiting to play the games from the beginning, I wasn't playing any of the games. Right. So I finally said, "Screw it! I'll start it with the most recent one, and if I like it, then I'll go back." And I think that has served me well because I've finally been introduced to Like a Dragon last year with Infinite Wealth. That's probably the biggest example for me as to why it was good to not be precious anymore. But I get it. I absolutely get you want to get the entire breadth of the story. But there are enough resources around now that if you have a question and you don't mind spoiling yourself, you can check out a cutscene. It's not the same, but you can check out a cutscene. You can check out a Wikipedia. You can get the background surface information that you need to understand what's going on and then live it for yourself when you have the time. I don't recommend that all the time, but if it's something that you really want to know about and you want the game, there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. Just don't spoil it for anybody else. You can spoil it for yourself all you want. Don't spoil it for anybody else.
Yeah, and it's just the best of both worlds, right? Is when the latest release is a remake of that first game, right? That's the ideal. That's the scenario where it's like, okay, we really can hit this game here, and then once I get into it, then the momentum can carry me forward or whatever.
Sure.
All right, we have a new poll question we'll get to here in a second. Before we do that, Jason Fanelli, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet, what you have going on, all that good stuff?
JasonFanelli.com, at Blue Sky, Big Man Fanelli everywhere else, most active on Instagram and Blue Sky. I've been checking the weather like a hawk, but if things clear out and go my way, I will be in Atlanta this weekend for MagicCon. Starts tomorrow, goes the weekend for the news. For the Magic fans that are looking for the news, it'll be news heavy tomorrow. Their preview panel is, I want to say 1:30 Eastern, might be 2:30. I can check my schedule in a minute if you really need me to. But that's where they're going to go over the upcoming sets like Avatar and Lorwyn. They're going to get into some things from 2026, which is pretty cool. And then an hour later is one all about their Secret Lair limited drops program. There's a panel specifically for that, like where the Sonic cards happened and the SpongeBob cards happened. There was a random New York Comic-Con panel that popped up that said Nickelodeon X or cross Magic the Gathering, and everyone thought it was Avatar since they're already doing that, but apparently not. So I wonder if we'll get more information on that tomorrow. I can hear Jan.
You activated him, yeah.
Jan has been activated. But yes, I'll
Legends
be there
of the Hidden
weekend.
Temple.
Oh shit, that would rule.
Shit, that would rule. No, the heavy rumors are that they will be of the Teenage Mutant Ninja variety.
I was going to ask you if the Turtles have happened yet. If they've not, it'll definitely be the Turtles.
No, it has not happened yet. So that's where I think they're going to go. But so that's my weekend planned. And after that, I have a couple reviews coming up. Nothing I can talk about at the moment, but I will be sharing all that stuff when it happens. Also, still writing news over at GameSpot. Wrote the gallery for the State of Play yesterday. So if you want a quick recap of everything we talked about here with articles to their breakouts or links to their breakouts, go check that out. And yeah, man, it's coming. We're here. We're in the holiday rush, baby. Let's do it.
We wish you safe travels, and you know what? Do us a favor, get into some trouble in Atlanta. Have a good time.
I
live it up.
I will get into as much trouble as my wife will allow. Yes.
Oh, of course. That goes without saying. Let's be clear here. All right, new poll question. How excited are you for PlayStation 5's 2026 between Wolverine, Saros, Marathon, God of War's Metroidvania game, and maybe Fair Games? Your options are I'll play at least 3, I'll play at least 2, I'll play at least 1, or I'm not interested in any of them. I think next year's shaping up pretty good for PlayStation. You know, kind of in modern context of like where the company's at with how frequently they're delivering games. I think they're in a pretty good state right now, and that next year is looking really promising. How about you?
Yes, I am in the at least 3. I'll play Wolverine, I'll try Saros, and I will play the God of War Metroidvania. So Marathon and fair game. Oh my God, Tokon 4. But yeah, I'm not interested in Marathon. I prefer my art to be original, and I'm not into fair games because Jade Raymond's gone. So if they even come out, if they even exist, who knows?
It's probably gonna get canceled. Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say this: anybody who answers that they're not interested in any of them is either trolling or just a fuddy-duddy, because that there's good stuff there. Wolverine, Saros, there's stuff. How could you not like any of that?
There's variety, right? It's not just like one note games. It's like, okay, you don't like big action narrative driven games like Wolverine. I guess I get it. Like maybe there's something else for you, like a Saros, which is such an action packed game. Like, yeah, you're right. It'd be weird to not be at least hopeful for some of these games to really hit your mark. All right, we have to talk about. Let's see here. Let's tell people what's happened on Giant Bomb. As we get the results of this poll on Game Us Mornings tomorrow. Later today, actually really soon after this show, we'll get set up for Sonic Crossworlds Racing. We're going to play some of that. Let me take a look at the calendar here. So what else we have going on? Let's voicemail dump truck will be later. And then tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern, Mike is going to do Hades 2 Through the Night. He's going to play about 4-ish hours of that game for everybody. We did say on the calendar that would be tomorrow. No, it's tonight. Tune in tonight. He wanted to play it on launch day, and he just thought Friday was the launch day. Again, it happens. Tomorrow we'll be back with Game Best Mornings. We'll have that UPF Baby Steps race with Kind of Funny. In between there, I might throw in some other stuff. Maybe we'll practice more baby steps so we're ready. Or Blippo. I still intend to play Blippo on the site. Maybe I get some other people together and we'll play that. That'll be a good time. I know.
God help us all.
A lot of games. All right, Jason Fanelli, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Anytime.
There's the Discord town hall at 4 p.m. as well. If you're a premium member, be sure to go just say I'm interested, and you'll get a notification of when we're going live for that. So premium members, get in there. We'll be ready for some questions. Okay, thank you everybody for watching and listening. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself. And goodbye.
Sorry, Tigers.
All right, let me kill YouTube. Coming back up on YouTube.